Adrian Cole's hand trembled as champagne sloshed over the rim of his crystal glass. Across the grand ballroom, through the crowd of designer gowns and tailored suits, he saw her. Tessa Morgan. The woman who vanished from his life 5 years ago without a trace, without a goodbye, without any explanation that made sense. His chest tightened as memories flooded back, but what made his blood run cold was the little girl holding Tessa's hand. The child couldn't have been more than 4 years old, wearing a bright red dress with white flowers. She had deep brown skin like her mother, but those eyes were unmistakably his. The same unusual hazel green that Adrian saw in the mirror every morning, the same eyes his father had, the rare genetic marker that ran in the Cole family. Adrian watched, frozen, as Tessa bent down to whisper something to the little girl. The child giggled, her curls bouncing as she nodded enthusiastically. Then, before Adrian could process what was happening, the little girl broke away from her mother and started running. Not just running anywhere. Running directly toward him. The ballroom seemed to slow down. Guests moved in blurred motion around him. The orchestra's waltz became distant background noise. All Adrian could focus on was this tiny person weaving through the crowd, her face lit up with pure joy, heading straight for him like she knew exactly who he was. "Daddy Adrian," she called out, her voice high and clear, cutting through every conversation in their vicinity. Adrian's glass slipped from his hand, shattering on the marble floor. Heads turned. Whispers started. But none of that mattered because this child, this beautiful little girl who was clearly his daughter, crashed into his legs and wrapped her small arms around his knees. "I found you," she said, looking up at him with those impossible eyes. "Mommy said you were here. She showed me your picture lots of times. I made you something." Behind her, Tessa stood paralyzed, her face a mixture of terror and resignation. She wore a simple blue dress, elegant but modest compared to the luxury surrounding them. She was even more beautiful than Adrian remembered, but the exhaustion in her eyes told a story of hardship he couldn't begin to imagine. Adrian's business partner, James, appeared at his elbow. "Adrian, are you all right? Who is this?" But Adrian couldn't speak. He could only stare down at the little girl who was now pulling a folded piece of paper from a small purse hanging across her chest. She unfolded it carefully, revealing a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall with yellow hair, one medium with brown skin and dark hair, and one tiny with brown skin and curly hair. "This is us," the little girl explained, pointing to each figure. "That's you, that's Mommy, and that's me. My name is Lily. Lily Rose Morgan. Mommy says my middle name is from your grandma. Is that true?" Adrian's knees nearly gave out. Rose had been his grandmother's name. The grandmother who raised him with more love than his own mother ever showed. Tessa remembered. After all these years, after whatever happened to tear them apart, she remembered the stories he told her about the one person in his family who truly understood him. He crouched down, his expensive suit forgotten, his image forgotten, everything forgotten except this moment. "Yes," he managed to whisper. "That's true. Rose was my grandmother's name." Lily beamed. "I knew it. I told Mommy I wanted to meet you. She said maybe someday. But then we got invited here because Mommy helped Mrs. Patterson's sister with her kids, and Mrs. Patterson said we should come, and Mommy said you might be here because Mr. Patterson is your friend, and I said we have to go because I need to meet my daddy." Each word was a hammer blow to Adrian's heart. This child had wanted to meet him, had known about him. While he had spent 5 years believing Tessa had simply decided he wasn't worth staying for, she had been raising their daughter, telling her about him, keeping his memory alive. Tessa finally moved, rushing over with panic written across her face. "Lily, honey, we talked about this. You can't just run up to people." "But it's not people, Mommy. It's Daddy Adrian." Lily's logic was simple and devastating. "Tessa." Adrian stood, still holding the drawing. "We need to talk." "I know." Her voice was barely audible. "I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen here like this." "How long have you been in the city?" "We never left." Those 3 words hit Adrian like a physical blow. She never left. All this time, while he had investigators searching across the country, while he had convinced himself she must have moved far away to start a new life, she had been here. In the same city. Raising his daughter alone. Around them, the wedding guests pretended not to stare, but Adrian could feel their eyes, their phones probably already capturing this moment for social media. His mother would hear about this within the hour. Patricia Cole had spies everywhere, especially at high society events. James cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should move this conversation somewhere more private? There's a garden terrace on the 2nd floor." Adrian nodded gratefully, but Lily interrupted. Are you coming with us, Daddy Adrian? That word. Daddy. She said it so naturally, so hopefully, like she had been practicing it her whole life waiting for this moment. Yes, Adrian said firmly. Yes, I'm coming with you. I'm not letting you out of my sight. Lily clapped her hands together. Good. Because I have lots of questions. Mommy answers them, but she says some things only daddies can explain. Like, why do boys like trucks so much? I like trains better. Trains go more places. Despite everything, despite the shock and confusion and rising anger at the years stolen from him, Adrian felt a smile tug at his lips. I like trains better too. See, Mommy? I told you we were the same. As they walked toward the terrace, Lily chattering away about her favorite train routes she had learned from library books, Adrian's mind raced. 5 years. 5 years of first steps he didn't see. First words he didn't hear. Birthdays he didn't celebrate. Someone was responsible for this, and he had a sinking feeling he knew exactly who. His mother had never approved of Tessa. Patricia Cole had made that abundantly clear from the moment Adrian brought Tessa to a family dinner. A social worker from a regular family, no connections, no pedigree, no use to the Cole empire. His mother had smiled through that dinner with ice in her eyes, and 2 weeks later Tessa disappeared. The terrace was empty, lit by strings of soft white lights. The city sprawled below them, millions of lives playing out in the darkness. Adrian shut the glass doors behind them, muffling the party noise. Lily immediately went to the railing, standing on her tiptoes to see better. Wow. Is this what rich people see all the time? Lily, step back from there, Tessa said quickly, moving to pull her daughter to safety. Adrian watched them together, seeing the practiced ease of their relationship, the obvious love and trust. Tessa had done this alone. Every scraped knee, every nightmare, every triumph and struggle. Alone. Why? The single word came out rougher than he intended. Tessa closed her eyes. Can we talk after I put Lily down for the night? This isn't a conversation for little ears. I'm not little. I'm 4 3/4, Lily corrected. You're right, you're very big, Tessa said softly. But grown-ups still need to talk about grown-up things sometimes. Adrian knelt beside Lily again. Your mom is right. But can I ask you something first? Lily nodded seriously. Would it be okay if I came to see you tomorrow? Maybe we could get ice cream and talk about trains? Her face transformed with pure joy. Really? You promise? I promise. I never break my promises. Okay. But chocolate ice cream is the best. Just so you know. Noted. Adrian held out his hand, and Lily shook it solemnly, like she had seen adults do. Tessa's eyes glistened with unshed tears. We should go. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have come. No. Adrian stood. Don't run again. Please. Whatever happened, whatever made you leave, we can figure it out. But don't take her away from me again. Don't take yourself away from me again. The raw emotion in his voice made Tessa's tears finally fall. You don't understand what happened. Then help me understand. Tomorrow. After I spend time with Lily, you and I will talk. Really talk. No more running, Tessa. I can't do another 5 years of not knowing. She nodded slowly. Okay. Tomorrow. But Adrian, there are things you don't know about your family. Things that made me believe leaving was the only way to protect everyone I love. A cold dread settled in Adrian's stomach. His family. His mother. Patricia. Tessa's silence was answer enough. Before Adrian could respond, Lily tugged on his sleeve. Daddy Adrian? Are you going to be at my birthday party? It's in 2 months. I'm going to be 5. That's a whole hand. She held up her small hand, fingers spread wide, and Adrian felt something break open inside his chest. Something that had been locked away since the day Tessa disappeared. I'll be at your birthday party, he promised. And every single one after that. Could you really blame a mother for trying to protect her child from a world she didn't understand? Have you ever had to make an impossible choice between love and safety? Drop a comment below and let me know what you would have done in Tessa's position. And if you want to see how this story unfolds, hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning. The community center on Maple Street had seen better days. Faded yellow paint peeled from the walls, and the linoleum floors were scuffed from decades of use. But inside it buzzed with life. Children laughed in the after-school program, seniors played cards in the corner, and volunteers sorted donated clothes in the back room. Adrian Cole had never been inside a place like this. At 28, he had spent his entire life in penthouses, country clubs, and private schools. His world was board meetings and charity galas where rich people wrote checks to feel good about themselves without ever seeing where the money went. but his college friend Marcus had begged him to come speak at this fundraiser. Marcus worked for a nonprofit and believed Adrian could inspire these kids with his tech success story. Adrian had agreed mostly to get Marcus to stop calling, but now, standing in this warm, chaotic space, he felt something shift inside him. "Thank you all for coming," a woman's voice called out from the small stage. "I'm Tessa Morgan, the coordinator here at Maple Street Community Center. We're so grateful for your support tonight." Adrian looked up and time seemed to stop. Tessa wore a green sweater and jeans, nothing fancy, but she glowed with genuine warmth. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and when she smiled, her whole face lit up. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just herself, completely and utterly real in a way Adrian had never experienced in his social circles. She talked about the center's programs with such passion that Adrian found himself leaning forward to catch every word. She told stories about the kids they helped, the families they supported, the elderly people who found community here. She made poverty and struggle sound not like statistics but like real human experiences that deserved dignity and attention. When she finished speaking, Adrian realized he had been holding his breath. "That's Tessa," Marcus said, appearing beside him. "Amazing, right? She turned this place around in 2 years. Used to be they could barely keep the lights on. Now they're expanding programs left and right." "Introduce me," Adrian said before he could think better of it. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Introduce you? Adrian Cole wants an introduction? Usually women are throwing themselves at you. She's different." "Yeah, she is. Fair warning though, she's not impressed by money. Turned down a donation from a guy last month because he wanted his name on the building in letters bigger than the actual mission statement." Adrian smiled. "Good." When Marcus brought him over, Tessa was talking to an elderly woman about her grandson's progress in the reading program. She took the time to really listen, not just nod politely while waiting for her turn to talk. When she finally turned to Adrian, her smile was friendly but not starstruck. "You must be the famous Adrian Cole," she said, shaking his hand. "Marcus has told me about your work in educational technology." "Nothing as important as what you're doing here," Adrian replied honestly. "We all contribute in different ways. Your speech was great, by the way. The kids loved hearing about coding from someone who actually built something from scratch." They talked for hours that night. Long after the fundraiser ended, long after Marcus gave up waiting and went home, Adrian and Tessa sat on the center's front steps talking about everything and nothing. She told him about growing up with parents who worked 3 jobs between them to keep their family afloat. How she became a social worker because she remembered the kindness of strangers who helped her family during hard times. Adrian found himself telling her things he never shared with anyone. About the loneliness of growing up rich, how his mother controlled every aspect of his life, how his father had died when Adrian was 12 and left him with a fortune but no parent who actually listened to him. His grandmother Rose had been his only real family, and she passed away when he was 20. "Money doesn't buy happiness," Tessa said softly. "But it doesn't mean rich people don't deserve happiness either. Pain is pain no matter what your bank account says." That simple statement, spoken without judgment or envy, made Adrian fall a little bit in love with her right then. They started seeing each other regularly. Adrian would show up at the community center to volunteer, something he had never done before. He tutored kids in math and science. He fixed broken computers. He learned the names of the regulars and started to understand poverty not as an abstract concept but as a reality affecting real people who deserved better. Tessa showed him a world he never knew existed. Street festivals in neighborhoods his driver usually avoided. Tiny restaurants where the food was incredible and the prices were reasonable. Parks where families gathered for free concerts. She taught him that joy didn't require a price tag, that community could be built anywhere people cared enough to try. 6 months into their relationship, Adrian took Tessa to meet his mother. Patricia Cole lived in a mansion that looked more like a museum than a home. Everything was white and gold and cold. She greeted Tessa with a smile that never reached her eyes. "So you're the social worker," Patricia said, the word somehow sounding like an insult. How quaint. The dinner was torture. Patricia asked questions designed to highlight the differences between Tessa's background and the Cole family's status. She brought up charity galas and European vacations, knowing Tessa had experienced neither. She mentioned family connections and business networks, subtly emphasizing that Tessa brought nothing valuable to the table. But Tessa handled it with grace. She answered honestly, never pretending to be something she wasn't, never apologizing for her life. Adrian had never been more proud or more in love. When they left, Patricia walked them to the door. "Adrian, a word please?" Tessa waited outside while Patricia pulled Adrian aside. She's unsuitable, Patricia said bluntly. I know you think you're in love, but this is infatuation. She's from a completely different world. It will never work. I love her, mother. Really love her. For the first time in my life, I'm with someone who sees me, not my bank account. Love isn't enough. You have responsibilities. A legacy to uphold. The Cole name means something. The Cole name doesn't have to mean cold and isolated. Patricia's eyes turned hard. If you continue this relationship, you'll regret it. That's not a threat, Adrian. That's a promise. But Adrian ignored the warning. He continued seeing Tessa, falling deeper in love every day. She made him laugh. She challenged him to be better, to do more with his wealth and influence. She saw potential in him that went beyond making money and attending parties. 1 year into their relationship, Adrian was certain he wanted to marry her. He started looking at rings, planning a proposal. He imagined a future where they worked together to make real change, combining his resources with her passion and knowledge. Then Tessa discovered she was pregnant. Adrian would never forget the look on her face when she told him. They were at her small apartment, the kind of place his mother would have called embarrassing. But to Adrian it was home. It smelled like Tessa's lavender soap and the candles she liked. Her books lined the walls and photos of people she loved covered every surface. I'm pregnant, she said, her voice shaking. I know we didn't plan this. I know it's fast. But Adrian, I want to keep this baby. Our baby. Adrian pulled her into his arms. I want that too. Tessa, I was going to wait for the perfect moment, but there's never going to be a more perfect moment than this. He got down on one knee right there in her tiny living room. Marry me. Build a life with me. Let's raise this baby together and show them what real love looks like. Tessa said yes through happy tears. They held each other and planned their future. A simple wedding, maybe at the community center. A modest home at first, something they could fill with love and laughter. They would tell their child about both sides of their family, the struggles and the privileges, and raise someone who understood the value of kindness and hard work. For 2 weeks, Adrian was happier than he had ever been. Then Tessa disappeared. He woke up one morning to a text message. I'm sorry. This isn't going to work. Please don't look for me. I wish you well. Adrian called, texted, went to her apartment. Gone. He went to the community center. She had quit without notice. He called her parents. They refused to speak to him. He hired investigators who found nothing. It was like Tessa Morgan had simply erased herself from his life. For months, Adrian searched. He couldn't understand what happened. Everything had been perfect. They were going to have a baby, build a family. What changed? Eventually, his mother sat him down. Adrian, you have to accept that she left. Some people aren't cut out for this life. She realized she didn't fit in our world and made the mature choice to walk away. She was pregnant with my child. Are you certain the child was yours? Adrian had stood up and walked out. He didn't speak to his mother for 6 months after that. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Why else would Tessa leave so suddenly? Maybe his mother was right. Maybe Tessa realized she didn't want to be part of his complicated world. He threw himself into work. Cole Technologies expanded rapidly. Adrian made deals, launched products, earned billions. He dated occasionally, women his mother approved of, but never seriously. His heart remained with the woman who disappeared. And now, 5 years later, he had answers. But those answers brought only more questions and a growing rage at what had been stolen from him. Adrian barely slept that night. He kept seeing Lily's face, her joy when she called him daddy, the drawing she made of their family. He kept replaying Tessa's words, there are things you don't know about your family. At 7 in the morning he called his lawyer. I need you to pull every communication my mother had 5 years ago. Phone records, emails, everything. I don't care what it costs or what privacy laws we have to navigate. I need to know what happened. By 9 he was at Tessa's address. She lived in a modest neighborhood, the kind where people actually knew their neighbors and kids played on the sidewalks. Her apartment was in a 3-story building that had seen better days but was clean and well maintained. He knocked on apartment 2B, his heart pounding. Tessa opened the door looking exhausted. You're early. I couldn't wait. Adrian held up a bag from a local bakery. I brought breakfast. And coffee. I remember you like it with cream, no sugar. Something flickered across Tessa's face. Pain maybe or longing. You remembered. I remembered everything, Tessa. Every conversation, every moment. Nothing about our relationship was forgettable. She let him in. The apartment was small but filled with warmth. Lily's drawings covered the refrigerator. Books overflowed from shelves. A bright blue couch sat against one wall, and photos hung everywhere. Adrian recognized some of them, pictures from their time together that he thought were lost forever. "She's still asleep," Tessa said, gesturing to a closed door. "Saturday mornings she usually sleeps until 8. We have a little time." They sat at a small kitchen table, coffee cooling in their hands. For a long moment neither spoke. Finally Adrian said, "Tell me what my mother did." Tessa took a deep breath. 3 days after I told you I was pregnant, your mother came to see me. She showed up at the community center with 2 men in suits. They looked like lawyers or bodyguards, I wasn't sure which. Adrian's hands clenched around his mug. "She was very polite at first," Tessa continued. "She congratulated me on the pregnancy. Then she laid out exactly why I needed to disappear from your life. She had investigated my family. She knew my parents were struggling financially. She knew my father had a heart condition and couldn't afford his medications half the time. She knew my younger brother was trying to go to college on scholarships that barely covered tuition. What did she threaten? She said if I stayed with you she would destroy my family. My father would lose his job. My brother would lose his scholarships. She had connections, she said, and she wasn't afraid to use them. She painted a picture of my family losing everything, all because I was selfish enough to believe I could fit into your world." Adrian felt sick. "And then? Then she offered me money. A lot of money. Enough to pay off my parents' debts, put my brother through school and set me up comfortably. All I had to do was leave and never contact you again. Never tell you about the baby. Just disappear. But you didn't take the money?" "No. I told her to go to hell." Tessa smiled sadly. "I thought love was enough. I thought we could fight her together. So I went home to tell you what happened, to show you the kind of person your mother really was." "What stopped you?" "My father had a heart attack that night. The doctors said it was stress-related. He pulled through but barely. While I was at the hospital your mother showed up again. She said this was a warning. She said next time my father might not be so lucky. She said accidents happen, especially to people who don't know when to walk away." Adrian stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "She threatened your father's life." I don't know if she meant it literally or if she was just trying to scare me. But Adrian, I couldn't take that chance. My father almost died. My family was falling apart. Your mother made it clear that staying with you meant putting everyone I loved at risk. So you left. I left. I sent you that text and I blocked your number before I could change my mind. I moved apartments, changed my schedule at work, avoided anywhere I thought you might go. For months, I jumped every time I saw a black car, thinking it was your investigators or your mother's people. Why didn't you reach out after Lily was born? You must have known I would want to know my daughter." Tessa's eyes filled with tears. "Because I was terrified. Your mother is powerful, Adrian. She has money and connections I can't even comprehend. What if she tried to take Lily from me? What if she decided a Cole heir should be raised by the Cole family, and I was just an inconvenient detail to be removed? I would never let that happen. You didn't even know she existed. How could you stop something you didn't know about?" Tessa wiped her eyes. "I told myself I was protecting her. I convinced myself that someday when Lily was older, when I was more stable, maybe then I could reach out. But the longer I waited, the harder it became. How do you tell a man he has a 4-year-old daughter? How do you explain why you kept her from him? You tell him the truth. Like you're doing now." Adrian sat back down, reaching across the table to take Tessa's hand. "I'm not angry at you. I'm furious at my mother, but not at you. You did what you thought you had to do to protect your family. But I took away your choice. I took away 5 years of Lily's life from you. My mother took those years. Not you." Adrian squeezed her hand. "Tessa, I need you to understand something. I've spent 5 years wondering what I did wrong, why you left, if our whole relationship was a lie. Knowing the truth, knowing you didn't leave because you stopped loving me, that changes everything." "I never stopped loving you," Tessa whispered. "Even when I was 8 months pregnant and angry at the world, even when Lily was born and I was crying because you weren't there to meet her, even when she took her first steps and said her first word, I never stopped loving you. I just loved my family more." Before Adrian could respond, Lily's door opened. She walked out rubbing her eyes, wearing pajamas covered in cartoon trains. When she saw Adrian, her face lit up like sunrise. "Daddy Adrian. You came back. I told you I would. I always keep my promises." Lily climbed into his lap without hesitation, as natural as if they had done this every morning of her life. She smelled like child shampoo in sleep, and Adrian felt his eyes burn with tears he refused to shed. "Are we getting ice cream now?" Lily asked hopefully. "After breakfast. Your mom says you like pancakes." "I love pancakes. With chocolate chips. Mommy makes the best ones. Adrian looked at Tessa over Lily's head. Can I stay? For breakfast, I mean. And then maybe we can all go get ice cream together? Tessa nodded, fresh tears on her cheeks. I'd like that. As Tessa made pancakes and Lily chattered about her favorite train routes from books she had memorized, Adrian felt something settle in his chest. Anger at his mother still burned hot, but it was tempered by the reality of this moment. His daughter in his arms. The woman he loved making breakfast. A chance to rebuild what had been destroyed. But he knew this was just the beginning. His mother wouldn't accept this quietly. She had spent 5 years believing she had successfully removed Tessa from Adrian's life. Discovering she had a granddaughter she didn't control would make Patricia dangerous. Adrian would have to face her. But first he was going to eat chocolate chip pancakes with his daughter and take his family out for ice cream. Some things mattered more than confrontation. Some things were worth protecting at any cost. The ice cream shop was busy for a Saturday afternoon. Families crowded around small tables and the line stretched to the door. Lily held Adrian's hand on one side and Tessa's on the other, swinging between them with pure joy. This is the best day ever, Lily announced for the 5th time since they left the apartment. Adrian couldn't stop smiling. Every time Lily looked up at him with those eyes that mirrored his own, his heart expanded in ways he didn't know were possible. She trusted him completely, this little person who barely knew him but had already claimed him as hers. When they reached the counter, Lily pressed her nose against the glass display case. There are so many flavors. How do you choose? You try a few samples, Adrian said, and then you pick your favorite. I can try before I pick? Lily's eyes went wide. That's the best rule ever. The teenager behind the counter smiled and offered Lily a tiny spoon of chocolate. Then strawberry. Then mint chip. Lily took her tasting seriously, considering each flavor with the concentration of a professional food critic. The chocolate is good, she said thoughtfully. But the strawberry tastes like summer. Mommy, what season is it now? Fall, baby. Then I want summer. I choose strawberry. Adrian ordered chocolate for himself and vanilla with caramel for Tessa, remembering it was her favorite. Her surprised look confirmed he was right. They found a table outside where they could watch people walk by. Lily sat between them, carefully licking her cone so it wouldn't drip. Daddy Adrian, do you have a job? Lily asked suddenly. I do. I run a technology company. We make computers and software that help people learn things. Like educational stuff? Exactly like educational stuff. Mommy says education is important. She says it's how people get chances to do better. Lily paused to catch a drip of ice cream. Do you like your job? I do. But I think I could like it more. I think I've been doing it wrong for a while. How do you do a job wrong? Adrian considered his answer carefully. Even at 4, Lily deserved honesty. I focused too much on making money and not enough on helping people. Your mom taught me that a long time ago, but I forgot for a while. Mommy is really smart, Lily said proudly. She helps lots of people. Sometimes they cry and say thank you, and Mommy says she's just doing her job, but I know she does more than just her job. She does her heart too. Adrian looked at Tessa, who was blinking back tears. Your mom has the biggest heart of anyone I know. That's why I picked her to be my mom, Lily said matter-of-factly. You picked her? Adrian asked, charmed. Before I was born. When I was in heaven waiting. I looked down and I saw Mommy and I said, that one, she's going to be the best at loving me. So I picked her. Tessa laughed through her tears. Where did you learn that? Mrs. Chin at the library. She said that's how it works. Babies pick their parents before they come down. Adrian felt his throat tighten. I'm glad you picked your mom. She is the best at loving you. Did you pick your mom? Lily asked innocently. The question hit Adrian like cold water. I don't know. Maybe we don't always pick right. Lily frowned. Is your mom not good at loving? She loves in her own way. But it's different from how your mom loves. Different how? Tessa intervened gently. Some people show love by trying to control things. They think if they can control everything, they can keep the people they love safe. But real love means trusting people to make their own choices. Even if the choices are mistakes? Lily asked. Even then. Because that's how we learn and grow. Lily thought about this while finishing her cone. Then she said, I think you made a good choice, Daddy Adrian. What choice? Coming to find us. Mommy was scared you might be mad, but I told her you wouldn't be. I told her daddies are supposed to find their families. Adrian reached over and gently tugged one of Lily's curls. You were right. And I'm not mad. I'm grateful. What's grateful mean? It means thankful. It means I'm so happy I found you that I can barely believe it's real. Lily grinned, ice cream on her chin. It's real. I'm real. See? She poked his arm. You're real too. We're all real together. After ice cream, they walked through a nearby park. Lily ran ahead to the playground and Adrian and Tessa followed at a slower pace. She's incredible, Adrian said. Tessa, you raised an incredible human being. She's easy to love, Tessa replied. She's always been sunny even when things were hard. When I was working 2 jobs and going to school online, she would sit with her coloring books and tell me stories to keep me awake. She's been my partner through everything. 2 jobs. I had to pay the bills somehow. Social work doesn't pay much, but I wanted to finish my degree. So I worked at the community center during the day and cleaned offices at night. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, the one who invited us to the wedding, she watched Lily when I had night shifts. Adrian felt anger rising again, not at Tessa but at the circumstances that forced her into this situation. That should never have been necessary. I would have helped. I wanted to help. I know. But I was so scared of your mother. Every time I thought about reaching out, I remembered her threats. I convinced myself Lily and I were safer staying invisible. They reached a bench and sat down, watching Lily climb on the play structure. She waved at them from the top and they both waved back. I'm going to make this right, Adrian said firmly. I'm going to set up accounts for you and Lily. Education, living expenses, everything you need. Adrian, I can't accept. Yes, you can. Not because I'm trying to buy my way back into your life, but because it's right. Lily is my daughter. You're her mother. I should have been supporting you both all along. My mother stole that from all of us, but I can fix this part. Tessa was quiet for a moment. Okay. For Lily's future, I'll accept help. But I need to keep working. I need to keep being me, not just someone who lives off your money. I wouldn't want you any other way. Your work matters, Tessa. The community center matters. What if we expanded it? What if Cole Technologies funded a real upgrade? New computers, better facilities, more programs? You'd do that. I should have done it years ago. When we were together, you showed me how to use wealth to make actual change, not just write checks and feel good. Then you left and I went back to the empty way of living I knew before. But I don't want that anymore. I want purpose. I want to build something that matters. And I want Lily to see her father as someone who does good in the world. Tessa reached over and took his hand. You're already good in the world, Adrian. You just forgot for a while. Lily came running back, breathless and sweaty. Did you see me on the tall slide? I went down so fast. I saw. You're very brave, Adrian said. Brave like you? Braver than me, I think. Lily climbed onto his lap, settling in like she belonged there. Daddy Adrian, can I ask you something important? Anything. Are you going to stay this time? Because Mommy's last boyfriend said he would stay, but then he left when he found out about you. Adrian's jaw tightened. Your mom had a boyfriend? Tessa looked uncomfortable. It was brief. About a year ago. He seemed nice at first, but when Lily mentioned her father and I explained the situation, he said it was too complicated. He left the next day. He was scared, Lily said wisely. Mommy says some people are scared of complicated things. But I don't think you're scared. I'm not scared, Adrian said firmly, looking into Lily's eyes. I promise you I'm not going anywhere. Even if things get complicated, even if it's hard, I'm staying. You're my daughter and that's forever. Forever is a long time. Not long enough. Adrian hugged her close. I have 5 years to make up for. We have tea parties to have and books to read and train stations to visit. We have birthdays and holidays and regular Tuesdays. We have your whole life ahead of us and I'm going to be here for all of it. Lily pulled back to look at his face, searching for something. Whatever she found must have satisfied her because she nodded decisively. Okay. I believe you. Those 3 words meant more than any business deal Adrian had ever closed. This tiny person believed him, trusted him, accepted him into her life without hesitation or conditions. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of perfect moments. They fed ducks at the pond. They played hide and seek among the trees. They got hot dogs from a cart and sat on the grass eating them while Lily told elaborate stories about her stuffed animals at home. When the sun started to set, they walked back to Tessa's apartment. Lily held both their hands again, tired and happy. At the door, Lily threw her arms around Adrian's legs. This was the best day. Can we do it again tomorrow? How about I come for breakfast again? And then we can figure out what tomorrow's adventure will be. Every day can be an adventure? Every single day. After Lily went inside, Adrian and Tessa stood in the hallway. The exhaustion on Tessa's face was less pronounced now, replaced with something that looked like hope. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For being so good with her. For not being angry. For understanding." "I love her already," Adrian said simply. "I know I just met her, but she's mine and I love her. And Tessa, I never stopped loving you. 5 years didn't change that." "Adrian? I know we can't just pick up where we left off. Too much has happened. But I want to try. I want us to be a family. Not for Lily's sake, though she deserves that. But for us. Because we were good together and I think we could be good together again." Tessa smiled sadly. "We have to deal with your mother first. She's not going to accept this quietly. Let me worry about my mother. You focus on you and Lily. I'll handle Patricia. Be careful. She's dangerous when she doesn't get her way. So am I." Adrian kissed Tessa's forehead softly. "Get some rest. I'll see you in the morning." As he walked to his car, Adrian pulled out his phone and called his lawyer. "Did you find anything?" "More than you want to know. Your mother had investigators following Tessa for months before her pregnancy. There are emails coordinating with a private investigator firm. And Adrian, there are payments. Large payments to a company that specializes in pressure tactics. It's all here. Send me everything. I'm going to see my mother tomorrow night. It's time we had a very serious conversation about boundaries and consequences." Adrian drove home to his penthouse, the same cold, empty space he'd been living in for 5 years. But tonight it didn't feel like home. Home was a small apartment with drawings on the refrigerator and a little girl who called him Daddy Adrian. Everything was about to change. His mother would fight this. She would use every weapon in her arsenal to maintain control. But Adrian had something now that he didn't have 5 years ago. He had something worth fighting for. Sunday morning started with pancakes again. Adrian arrived at 7 with bags of groceries, determined to be useful. Lily was already awake, bouncing with energy. "You came back again," she said like she still couldn't quite believe it. "I told you I would. Every day. Every single day? Every single day." Over the next few weeks, Adrian proved those words true. He came for breakfast every morning before Lily went to preschool. He picked her up in the afternoons when Tessa had to work late. He read bedtime stories and helped with bath time. He learned which songs made Lily laugh and which ones she wanted repeated endlessly. He also learned the reality of Tessa's life. The night shift cleaning job she still worked 3 times a week because her daytime salary barely covered rent and childcare. The student loans she was still paying off from her degree. The way she shopped at discount stores and clipped coupons. The medical bills from Lily's birth that she paid $10 at a time. "Let me help," Adrian said one evening after Lily was asleep. They sat on Tessa's small couch, the only light coming from a lamp with a slightly crooked shade. "You already help. You've been here every day. I mean financially. Let me pay off these bills. Let me cover rent so you can quit the night job. Tessa, you're exhausted. You work yourself to the bone and it doesn't have to be this way. It feels like charity. It's not charity. It's me being a father and partner. It's me doing what I should have been doing for the past 5 years." Adrian took her hand. "I'm not trying to control you or change you. I just want to remove some of the stress so you can breathe a little easier." Tessa looked at their joined hands. "It's hard for me to accept help. I've been doing everything alone for so long. You don't have to be alone anymore. I'm here. Let me be here in all the ways that matter, not just the fun breakfast and bedtime story ways." After a long pause, Tessa nodded. "Okay. But slowly. I need to adjust to this new reality where I'm not constantly worried about money." The next day, Adrian had his accountant set up accounts for Lily's education and future. He paid off Tessa's medical bills and student loans. He covered her rent for a year in advance. He did it all quietly without fanfare, simply making problems disappear. But the best help he gave was his time. He showed up consistently, reliably, exactly when he said he would. He proved to both Tessa and Lily that his promises weren't empty words. Lily thrived with 2 parents. Her confidence grew. She started talking about when Daddy Adrian and I, as naturally as she talked about anything else. She drew pictures of their family constantly, always the same 3 figures holding hands. One afternoon, while Lily napped, Tessa showed Adrian a notebook she kept. "I started this when Lily was born," she explained. "I write down stories about you, memories from when we were together. I wanted her to know you even if she couldn't meet you. I wanted her to understand that you were real and you loved her, even if you didn't know she existed." Adrian paged through the notebook with tears in his eyes. Story after story of their time together. The night they met. Their first kiss. The way Adrian laughed at Tessa's terrible jokes. His kindness to the kids at the community center. His grandmother Rose and the stories he told about her. You made me a real person to her, he whispered. You were always real to us. Even when you were gone. Adrian pulled Tessa close, and for the first time since she had returned to his life, he kissed her. It was gentle, tentative, full of 5 years of longing and loss. When they pulled apart, Tessa was crying. I missed you so much, she said. Every single day I missed you. We have time now. We have all the time in the world to make new memories. But Adrian knew their peace was temporary. He had been avoiding the inevitable confrontation with his mother, wanting to establish his relationship with Lily first. But Patricia had eyes everywhere. She would know by now that Adrian had found Tessa and discovered his daughter. The confirmation came that evening in the form of a text from his mother. We need to talk. Tomorrow evening. My house. Come alone. Adrian showed the message to Tessa. I'm scared, she admitted. What if she tries to take Lily? She won't. I have lawyers who will ensure she can't. And Tessa, I have evidence of what she did 5 years ago. Emails, payment records, everything. She threatened you and your family. That's not going to look good if it becomes public. You'd expose your own mother? To protect you and Lily? Without hesitation. Adrian cupped Tessa's face in his hands. My mother ruled my life for too long. She controlled everything through fear and money. But she doesn't control me anymore. Love is stronger than fear. You taught me that. The next evening, Adrian drove to his mother's mansion. The same house where Tessa had endured that awful dinner. The place felt even colder now, knowing what Patricia was capable of. His mother waited in her formal sitting room, perched on a white sofa like a queen on a throne. She was 65 but looked younger, maintained through expensive procedures and careful living. She wore a burgundy suit that probably cost more than Tessa's monthly rent. Adrian, she said coolly, I hear you've been busy. You mean you heard I found my daughter and the woman you terrorized into leaving me? I did what was necessary to protect you. Protect me from what? From love. From happiness? From building a real family? Adrian remained standing, refusing to sit and play nice. From making a mistake that would haunt you forever. That woman was completely unsuitable. She would have dragged you down to her level. Her level? Tessa is a social worker who dedicates her life to helping people. She's kind, intelligent, and has more integrity in her little finger than you have in your entire body. Patricia's eyes flashed. How dare you speak to me that way? How dare you threaten an innocent woman and her family? How dare you steal 5 years of my daughter's life from me? Adrian pulled out his phone and opened the file his lawyer sent. I have evidence of everything you did. The investigators you hired to follow Tessa. The pressure company you paid to threaten her family. The timing of her father's heart attack with your visits. It's all here. For the first time, Patricia looked uncertain. You're bluffing. Am I? Want me to send these emails to the press? Want the world to know that Patricia Cole, philanthropist and society queen, destroyed a young woman's life because she wasn't rich enough for her son? Want your friends at the country club to know you threatened a pregnant woman? You wouldn't. Try me. Test my limits and find out exactly what I'm willing to do to protect my family. Patricia stood abruptly. That child is a Cole. She belongs with this family, raised properly with the right education and connections. That woman can't provide for her the way we can. That woman is Lily's mother and my partner. And you will treat her with respect or you will never meet your granddaughter. You can't keep my own grandchild from me. Watch me. Lily is 4 years old and happy and loved. She doesn't need your money or your connections or your toxic view of the world. She needs love and kindness and acceptance, things you've never been good at providing. Patricia's face went pale then red. I did everything for you. Everything I've done was to give you a better life. No, you did everything to control me. There's a difference. Grandma Rose loved me. She supported me. She celebrated my choices even when they weren't what she would have chosen. You've only loved me when I obeyed you. Rose spoiled you. Made you soft. Rose made me human. She taught me that money and power are tools, not identities. She showed me how to care about people beyond what they can do for me. Adrian moved toward the door. I'm going to marry Tessa. I'm going to be a father to Lily. And you have a choice to make. You can accept us as we are and be part of our lives, or you can stay here in your cold house with your cold heart and miss out on knowing your granddaughter. Adrian, wait. He paused at the door but didn't turn around. I lost you once, Patricia said, and for the first time, Adrian heard something almost like vulnerability in her voice. When your father died, you pulled away from me. Rose got your affection, your time, your trust. I was left with nothing but the business and the duty. Adrian turned slowly. You pushed me away, Mother. Every time I tried to share something with you, you criticized it. Every friend I made wasn't good enough. Every interest I had was frivolous. You wanted me to be a perfect reflection of the Cole name, but you never wanted me to just be Adrian. I didn't know how. Patricia sat down heavily. My own mother was cold and distant. I thought that's what being a parent meant. Preparing you for a harsh world. Making you strong. You made me lonely. Until Tessa, I didn't know what real connection felt like. She made you happy? Happier than I've ever been. Even now, after everything, she makes me better. Patricia was quiet for a long moment. I've been alone in this house since you stopped coming around. The business runs itself. My charity boards don't need me, they just need my money. I thought I was building a legacy, but all I've built is emptiness. Adrian saw his mother, really saw her, maybe for the first time. An aging woman who had spent her entire life building walls instead of bridges. Who thought control was love and fear was respect. It's not too late, he said quietly. But you have to change. You have to accept that you can't control everything and everyone. You have to meet Tessa and Lily where they are, not try to make them into something else. I don't know if I can do that. Then I guess you'll miss out on knowing the most amazing little girl in the world. Your choice, Mother. Adrian left, not sure what his mother would decide. But he had said what needed saying. The rest was up to Patricia. When he got back to Tessa's apartment, Lily was still awake, waiting for him. Did you talk to your mom? She asked seriously. I did. Is she nice now? I don't know yet. But I hope so. Because I'd like you to meet your grandmother someday. Lily climbed into his lap. If she's your mom, she must have done something good. She made you right? Adrian laughed, the first time he'd laughed since entering his mother's house. That's a very kind way to look at it. Mrs. Chin says everyone has good inside them. Sometimes it's just buried under scared or angry. Mrs. Chin is very wise. She's 100 years old. That's a lot of time to get wise. Adrian held his daughter close, grateful for her ability to see the good in everything. If Patricia ever did change, it would be because of Lily's pure perspective, not because of anything Adrian said. That night, after Lily was in bed, Adrian and Tessa sat on her small balcony looking at the city lights. What happens now? Tessa asked. Now we live our lives. We're a family. We figure it out as we go. What if your mother doesn't accept us? Then she misses out. But Tessa, I think maybe, possibly, I saw a crack in her armor tonight. A tiny recognition that she's been wrong. It's not much, but it's more than I've ever seen from her before. Lily has a way of bringing out the best in people. She gets that from you. They sat in comfortable silence, hands linked, watching the city breathe below them. 5 years had been stolen, but the future stretched out full of possibility. It wouldn't be perfect. There would be challenges and adjustments and difficult conversations. But they would face it together. Family wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, day after day, choosing love over fear, hope over bitterness, connection over control. And for the first time in 5 years, Adrian felt like he was finally home. 2 weeks passed in relative peace. Adrian spent every moment he could with Lily and Tessa. They fell into routines that felt natural and right. Saturday mornings at the park. Sunday breakfast at the diner. Weeknight dinners at Tessa's apartment. Story time before bed. Adrian moved some of his work remote so he could be present for the small moments. Lily's preschool pickup. Homework helped, though at 4 years old it was mostly coloring. Dance class on Wednesdays where Lily spun and twirled with more enthusiasm than grace. He also started making changes at Cole Technologies. He established a new division focused on educational software for underserved communities. He partnered with Tessa to identify community centers that needed technology upgrades. He remembered why he had started the company in the first place, not to make billions but to make learning accessible. Tessa quit her night cleaning job. The relief on her face when she realized she could sleep full nights was worth everything to Adrian. She had energy again. Color in her cheeks. Laughter that came easily instead of being forced through exhaustion. They were building something real. Something that felt permanent. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, Patricia showed up at Tessa's apartment. Tessa called Adrian immediately, panic in her voice. Your mother is here. She just knocked on the door. Don't let her in. I'm on my way. Adrian, Lily is here. She sees your mother through the window. Adrian's heart dropped. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't open the door. But he heard Lily's voice in the background. Is that my grandma? The one with the big house. Lily, wait. She looks sad, Mommy. Why does she look sad? Adrian drove faster than he should have, running 2 yellow lights and parallel parking with less care than usual. He took the stairs to the second floor 2 at a time. When he reached the apartment, the door was open. Patricia stood in the small living room looking completely out of place in her designer clothes and perfect hair. But it wasn't her appearance that stopped Adrian cold. It was the expression on her face as she watched Lily. Lily sat on the floor surrounded by her train books, explaining to Patricia the difference between freight trains and passenger trains with the seriousness of a professor giving a lecture. And this one, Lily said, pointing to a picture, goes all the way across the country. It takes 3 days. 3 whole days on a train. Isn't that amazing? Patricia sat on the edge of Tessa's blue couch, her expensive burgundy suit oddly bright against the modest furniture. She looked at Lily like she was seeing a miracle. That is amazing, Patricia said quietly. I've never been on a train that long. Really? But you're old. You should have done lots of train riding by now. Lily, Tessa said softly. That's not polite. But it's true. She has grandma hair. Despite everything, Patricia smiled. A real smile, not the cold one Adrian was used to. I do have grandma hair. You're absolutely right. Adrian cleared his throat. Mother. What are you doing here? Patricia stood, and for a moment, Adrian saw uncertainty on her face. I came to apologize. To Tessa? To all of you. But especially to Tessa. Tessa stood frozen by the kitchen, clearly torn between the desire to protect Lily and curiosity about what Patricia would say. Patricia turned to Tessa, and Adrian saw his mother do something he had never seen before. She looked uncomfortable, vulnerable, human. I was wrong, Patricia said simply. What I did 5 years ago was cruel and inexcusable. I told myself I was protecting Adrian, but I was really protecting myself. My vision of what his life should look like. My need for control. Mrs. Cole. Patricia, please. Mrs. Cole sounds like someone I don't want to be anymore. She took a breath. I threatened you and your family. I tried to force you away from my son because I was afraid. Afraid he would choose you over me. Afraid I would lose the last person I had any connection to. You had a terrible way of showing it, Tessa said, her voice shaking. I know. I spent my whole life building walls instead of relationships. My marriage was a business arrangement. My friendships are transactional. Adrian's grandmother Rose was the one who truly loved him, and I was jealous of that love because I didn't know how to replicate it. Lily looked up from her books. Why were you scared? Daddy Adrian is nice. He wouldn't leave you just for mommy. He'd make the family bigger, not replace people. Patricia's eyes filled with tears. You're right. I should have known that. But I was too afraid to risk it. Are you still scared? Lily asked. Terrified. But Adrian told me I had a choice. Be alone or be part of this family. And I don't want to be alone anymore. Lily stood up and walked over to Patricia. She was so small next to Adrian's tall mother, barely reaching Patricia's knees. But she took Patricia's hand with complete confidence. Family means you don't have to be alone, Lily said. That's what mommy always tells me. Even when things are hard, family stays. Patricia looked down at Lily's small hand in hers. Even when family has been unkind? Everyone makes mistakes. Mrs. Chin says the important thing is trying to do better. Mrs. Chin is very wise. That's what Daddy Adrian says too. Patricia looked at Adrian with an expression he had never seen before. It took him a moment to recognize it as pride. You've done something incredible here. Despite me, despite everything, you've built something beautiful. Tessa built it, Adrian said. I just showed up late. But you showed up. That's more than I did for you when you were young. Patricia looked at Tessa again. I know an apology doesn't fix what I did. I know I can't give you back the 5 years I took. But I want to try to be better. I want to be a grandmother Lily can be proud of. Why should I believe you? Tessa asked. You threatened my family. You made me believe my father would die if I stayed with Adrian. You terrorized me into leaving the man I loved. You shouldn't believe me. Not yet. I have to earn your trust and that will take time. But I'm asking for the chance to try. Lily tugged on Patricia's hand. Do you like tea parties? I've been to many tea parties. No, I mean real tea parties. With pretend tea and stuffed animals and silly voices. Those kind of tea parties. Patricia looked confused. I've never been to that kind of tea party. Then you haven't lived yet. Come on, I'll show you. Before anyone could protest, Lily dragged Patricia toward her room. Patricia looked back at Adrian with something like panic and he almost laughed. Just follow her lead, he called out. And be prepared to use a British accent for the stuffed rabbit. When they were gone, Tessa collapsed onto the couch. What just happened? Adrian sat beside her. I think my mother just met someone who doesn't care about her money or status or power. Someone who sees her as just another person. Lily has that effect on people. She gets it from you. They sat in silence for a moment, listening to Lily's cheerful chatter from the bedroom and Patricia's softer responses. I'm not ready to forgive her, Tessa said quietly. What she did was horrible. I lost 5 years with you because of her threats. You don't have to forgive her yet. Or ever if that's what you decide. But maybe we can give her a chance to be different. For Lily's sake? For all our sakes. Hate and anger take so much energy. I don't want to spend the rest of my life bitter about what we lost. I want to focus on what we have now. Tessa leaned her head on Adrian's shoulder. When did you get so wise? I had good teachers. You and Lily and Mrs. Chen. Who is Mrs. Chen? Lily's librarian. Apparently she's 100 years old and full of wisdom. Tessa laughed, the sound warm and genuine. She's 72 and from Taiwan. But yes, she's wonderfully wise. From Lily's room, they heard Patricia say in a terrible British accent, Would you care for more tea, Lady Whiskers? Lily giggled. That's good, Grandma Patricia. But Lady Whiskers is French, not British. Oh dear, what does French sound like? I don't know. Make something up. Patricia attempted a French accent that sounded more like a cartoon character. Lily dissolved into delighted laughter. I can't believe this is happening, Tessa said. Your mother is playing pretend in my daughter's bedroom. Our daughter's bedroom. And I can't believe it either. But Lily has a way of breaking down walls. They heard more laughter from the bedroom, and despite everything, despite the pain and the lost years and the justified anger, something in Tessa's chest loosened. Maybe forgiveness wasn't something you decided once. Maybe it was something you chose every day, little by little, when someone genuinely tried to change. When Patricia emerged from Lily's room 30 minutes later, her perfect hair was slightly mussed and there was a stuffed bear under her arm. Mr. Honey has decided to come home with me, she explained seriously. He needs to see how the other bears live. Mr. Honey is very lucky, Lily said, hugging Patricia's legs. Will you come back for another tea party? If your mother says it's okay. All eyes turned to Tessa. She took a deep breath. You can come back. But Patricia, if you ever threaten my family again, if you try to control or manipulate any of us, you're done. No second chances. No forgiveness. Done. I understand. Thank you. After Patricia left, promising to return Mr. Honey safely and to come for dinner the following week, Lily climbed into Adrian's lap. Grandma Patricia is sad inside, she said matter-of-factly. But I think tea parties might help. You think tea parties can fix everything? Adrian asked, charmed. Not everything. But lots of things. Tea parties and trains and chocolate ice cream. Those are the important things. Adrian hugged her close, breathing in her little girl's scent of shampoo and crayons. You're absolutely right. That night, after Lily was asleep, Adrian and Tessa sat on the balcony again. Do you think she means it? Tessa asked. Do you think she'll really change? I think she's going to try. Whether she succeeds is another question. But Lily already loves her, and that might be enough to keep Patricia trying. Children have such open hearts. They learn it from their parents. You taught Lily to see the good in people, even when it's buried deep. I had to learn that lesson myself. After everything, I was so angry. I wanted to hate your mother. Some days I did hate her. But hate is exhausting. And I didn't want Lily to grow up around that energy. You're an incredible mother. I'm a tired mother who's figuring it out as I go. That's what all the best parents are. Adrian pulled Tessa close, and they sat wrapped in each other as the city lights twinkled below. The future was still uncertain. His mother could relapse into old patterns. Tessa's trust could shatter again. The wounds of the past might never fully heal. But in this moment they had each other. They had Lily. They had hope. And sometimes hope was enough to build on. The following weeks revealed a side of Patricia that Adrian had never known existed. She came for dinner every Tuesday, bringing age-appropriate gifts for Lily that weren't outrageously expensive. She asked questions about Tessa's work with genuine interest. She even volunteered at the community center, helping with administrative tasks. It wasn't perfect. Patricia still made occasional comments that revealed her ingrained prejudices about class and money. She struggled with the concept that happiness didn't require luxury. She was learning, slowly, that love was more valuable than control. One evening, as Patricia helped Lily with a puzzle at the coffee table, she said quietly, I've been seeing a therapist. Adrian looked up from where he was helping Tessa prepare dinner. You're what? A therapist. After our conversation, after meeting Lily, I realized I didn't know how to be the person I want to be. So I'm getting help. Patricia fit a puzzle piece into place. She says I have control issues stemming from my own childhood trauma. Apparently, when you grow up feeling powerless, you spend your adult life trying to ensure you're never powerless again. That makes sense, Tessa said carefully from the kitchen. It doesn't excuse what I did, but it helps me understand why I did it. And understanding is the first step to changing. Lily looked up from the puzzle. What does trauma mean? It means something happened that hurt me a long time ago, Patricia explained. And that hurt made me scared, and fear made me do unkind things. Like when Tommy pushed me at school and I pushed him back even though I knew pushing was wrong? Something like that, yes. Did you tell the person you were sorry? Patricia's hands stilled over the puzzle. No. The people who hurt me are gone now. But I can tell the people I hurt because of it that I'm sorry. She looked at Tessa, and Adrian saw real remorse in his mother's eyes. I'm sorry, Patricia said. I know I've said it before, but I'll keep saying it. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I'm sorry for taking Adrian away. I'm sorry for threatening your family. I'm sorry for the fear I caused. If I could undo it, I would. Tessa wiped her hands on a dish towel and came to sit with them. I'm working on forgiving you. It's hard. Some days I remember how scared I was and I get angry all over again. But then I see you with Lily and I see you trying and it gets a little easier. That's more than I deserve. Maybe. But forgiveness isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I need to move forward. Lily, who had been listening carefully, added, Mrs. Chin says forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not the other person. Mrs. Chin is right again, Patricia said softly. After dinner, as Lily showed Patricia her newest drawings, Adrian's phone rang. His head of security. Mr. Cole, we have a situation. Someone's been asking questions about Ms. Morgan. Digging into her past, her family, her finances. Adrian's blood went cold. Who? We don't know yet. But it's not journalists. This is professional, thorough. Someone wants detailed information. After he hung up, Adrian found Patricia alone in the kitchen. Is there something you want to tell me? What do you mean? Someone is investigating Tessa. Having her followed, digging into her background. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Patricia's face went pale. No. Adrian, I swear I haven't hired anyone. I've been trying to change. Then who? I don't know. But Adrian, I have enemies. People who would love to see me vulnerable. If they found out about Lily, about Tessa, they might use it against me. Or against us. The realization hit them both at the same time. Whoever was investigating Tessa wasn't doing it to help Patricia. They were doing it to find leverage, weaknesses, ways to exploit the Cole family. Adrian called Tessa into the kitchen and explained the situation. Her face drained of color. My parents, she whispered. If someone goes after them again, we'll protect them, Adrian said firmly. I'll have security on your parents starting tonight. And Tessa, I think you and Lily should move in with me. At least temporarily until we know what we're dealing with. Move in with you? My penthouse has better security. Full-time guards. Cameras. No one gets up without passing through security. Adrian, that's a huge step. I know. But your safety matters more than taking things slow. Patricia cleared her throat. Or they could come stay at my house. It has even better security than Adrian's building. Gates, guards, the whole estate is monitored. Both Adrian and Tessa stared at her. I know what you're thinking, Patricia continued. The same house where I made Tessa feel unwelcome. But things are different now. I'm different. And more importantly, Lily would be safest there. I can't, Tessa said immediately. Patricia, I appreciate the offer, but I can't live in that house. Then let me hire additional security for your building. Guards at the entrance, cameras in the hallways. Whatever makes you feel safe. Adrian watched his mother carefully. This wasn't the controlling Patricia he knew. This was someone genuinely trying to help without strings attached. Let's start with security for Tessa's parents, Adrian decided. And we upgrade security here. If things escalate, we'll revisit the living situation. Over the next few days, Adrian's team worked to identify who was investigating Tessa. They traced the inquiries back to a private investigation firm that specialized in corporate espionage and opposition research. The firm's client remained anonymous, but Adrian had his suspicions. Business rivals who would love to find dirt on the Cole family. Competitors who wanted leverage in negotiations. Maybe even tabloid journalists looking for a story about the reclusive billionaire's secret family. Through it all, Patricia surprised everyone. She used her connections to quietly shut down some of the investigation channels. She called in favors from people who owed her, making it clear that anyone who threatened Tessa or Lily would answer to her personally. "Why are you doing this?" Tessa asked one evening when Patricia stayed late to help install additional locks. "Because you're family now. Because Lily is my granddaughter. And because I owe you 5 years of protection I didn't provide. You're the reason I needed protection in the first place." "I know. And I can't change that. But I can make sure no one else hurts you the way I did." Lily, overhearing from her bedroom where she was supposed to be sleeping, called out, "Grandma, Patricia is a hero now." "Not a hero," Patricia called back. "Just someone trying to be better." "That's the same thing," Lily insisted. A week later, Adrian's security team finally identified the client behind the investigation. It wasn't a business rival or a journalist. It was Patricia's sister, Catherine, who Adrian barely remembered. Catherine had been cut out of the family fortune years ago after a bitter dispute with Adrian's father. "She's looking for ammunition," Adrian's head of security explained. "She wants to challenge your father's will, claim Patricia had undue influence. If she can prove Patricia is unstable or has been hiding family secrets, she thinks she can reopen the estate case." Adrian called Catherine directly. "Stop investigating my family." "Family? That woman and her child are not your family, Adrian. They're gold diggers who saw an opportunity. They're my daughter and her mother. And if you continue this, I'll make sure every business connection you have knows exactly why you were cut from the will. I have the documents, Catherine. The fraud, the theft, the lies. All of it. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Leave Tessa and Lily alone, or I'll destroy whatever reputation you have left." The line went dead. That night, Adrian told Tessa and Patricia what he'd learned and done. "You threatened your aunt for me," Tessa said softly. "I protected my family. That's different." Patricia was quiet, processing. Finally she said, "Catherine always was vindictive. I should have anticipated this." "It's handled now," Adrian assured her. "She won't bother us again." But Lily, who had been drawing at the table, looked up with wise eyes. "Bad people don't just stop being bad because you tell them to. Mrs. Chin says that." "Mrs. Chin isn't always right," Adrian said gently. "Yes, she is. She's 100 years old." 72, Tessa corrected automatically. "That's still really old." Despite the tension, they all laughed. Lily had a way of breaking through the darkest moments with simple observations. Over the following weeks, Catherine did back off. Adrian's threat had worked, or perhaps she realized she had no real case. Either way, the investigation stopped. Life began to settle into a new normal. Patricia became a regular presence in their lives, though she still struggled with her ingrained habits. She caught herself making judgmental comments about Tessa's apartment and had to actively work to reframe her thinking. She had to remind herself that love didn't require luxury, that happiness existed outside her narrow worldview. One Saturday, Patricia invited them all to her house. Not for dinner, but for Lily to use the pool. Tessa was hesitant, but Lily was so excited about swimming that she agreed. The estate looked different in daylight. Still grand, still intimidating, but somehow less cold. Patricia had made changes. Fresh flowers in every room. Photos of Lily on the mantel. Bright throw pillows on the white furniture. "I'm trying to make it feel more like a home," Patricia explained. "It's been a museum for too long." Lily loved the pool. She splashed and played with the joy of a child who rarely got to swim. Adrian played with her, throwing her in the air and catching her while she shrieked with delight. Tessa and Patricia sat in lounge chairs watching them. "He's a good father," Patricia said. "Better than his own father was. He tries. That's what matters. I didn't try with him. I thought providing for his material needs was enough. I didn't understand that children need presence, not just presence. It's not too late to be present now." Patricia looked at her. "Do you really believe that? That I can make up for the past? I believe people can change if they want it badly enough. And I see you wanting to. I want Lily to know a different version of me. Not the cold woman who valued status over substance. I want to be someone she's proud to call grandma. Then keep doing what you're doing. Show up. Be present. Love without conditions." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching Adrian and Lily play. Then Patricia said, "I need to tell you something. About why I was so controlling with Adrian." Tessa waited, not pushing. "My mother was cruel," Patricia continued. "Physically, emotionally, in every way. My father ignored it, too focused on his business empire. I grew up believing that love was conditional, that you had to earn affection through perfection. When I married Adrian's father, it was a business arrangement. We never loved each other. And when Adrian was born, I didn't know how to love him. I only knew how to control him, shape him, mold him into something that would survive in this harsh world I understood. That must have been lonely. It was. Rose, Adrian's grandmother, tried to show me another way. She loved freely, openly. But I thought she was weak. I thought her kindness would make Adrian soft, vulnerable. I fought against her influence, and in doing so, I pushed Adrian away. He doesn't talk about his grandmother much. Because it hurts. She was the only person who truly loved him, and when she died, he lost his safe place. I could have stepped up then, been what he needed. Instead, I doubled down on control. And I lost him. You haven't lost him. He's right there. Patricia watched her son playing with his daughter. I lost him for a long time. I'm just now getting him back. Getting all of you back. And I won't waste this second chance. Later that evening, as they prepared to leave, Lily threw her arms around Patricia's legs. Thank you for the swimming, Grandma Patricia. This was the best day. Patricia bent down, something she never would have done in her designer clothes before, and hugged Lily properly. You're welcome, sweetheart. Come back anytime. Can I really? Anytime I want. Anytime you want. This is your house too now. On the drive home, Lily chattered about the pool and the fancy towels and the cookies Patricia had made. Yes, made, not bought from an expensive bakery. Patricia had actually baked cookies, probably for the first time in her life because Lily mentioned she liked homemade ones best. Your mother is trying really hard, Tessa said to Adrian. I know. I never thought I'd see the day. Do you think it will last? I think she's scared of losing us again. Fear used to make her controlling. Maybe now it will make her careful, considerate. Trying to be better. Fear isn't the best motivation. No, but love is. And I think she's learning to love without conditions. Lily is teaching her. In the back seat, Lily had fallen asleep, exhausted from swimming. Adrian glanced at her in the rearview mirror, his heart full. I want to ask you something, Adrian said quietly. What? Move in with me. Not because of security threats or practical reasons, but because I want to wake up with you every morning. I want to have breakfast as a family every day, not just weekends. I want to be there for every moment, big and small. Tessa was quiet for a long time. That's a big step. I know. And if you're not ready, I understand. But Tessa, I lost 5 years with you. I don't want to waste any more time on slow and careful when we could be building a life together. What about Lily? What if things don't work out? I can't put her through losing you again. Things will work out. I'm not going anywhere. I promise you, Tessa. I'm in this forever. Forever is what you promised Lily. And I meant it. Both of you. Forever. Tessa reached over and took his hand. Okay, let's do it. Let's be a family under one roof. Really? Really? But I want to keep working. I want to maintain my independence. And I want to say in decorating because I've seen your penthouse and it's very modern and cold. Adrian laughed. Deal. Make it warm. Make it home. I can do that. They drove through the city, hands linked, their daughter sleeping in the back, the future stretching out full of promise. There would be challenges ahead. Patricia's change might not stick. Catherine might cause more trouble. Life would throw curveballs. But they would face it together. As a family. With love and hope and the simple wisdom of a 4-year-old who believed that tea parties could fix almost anything. Moving day was chaotic in the best way. Tessa didn't have much furniture, having lived minimally for years, but she had boxes of books, Lily's toys, and memories that needed careful packing. Patricia showed up with a moving crew. I know you said you didn't need help, but I wanted to make sure everything arrived safely. Tessa had learned to accept Patricia's gestures for what they were, genuine attempts to be useful and included. Thank you. I appreciate it. Adrian's penthouse was on the 40th floor with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. It was sleek and modern, all glass and chrome and neutral colors. Beautiful but impersonal, like a very expensive hotel. Lily walked in and her first words were, "Where are all the colors?" That's what I said, Tessa laughed. We're going to fix that. Over the next few weeks they transformed the space. Bright rugs softened the hard floors. Lily's artwork went up on the walls in colorful frames. Bookshelves replaced some of the abstract sculptures. Photos covered surfaces where there had only been expensive emptiness before. Adrian's home office became a shared space where Tessa could do her social work case files and Lily could do homework when she started kindergarten. They painted one wall bright blue at Lily's insistence because blue is happy. This room needs to be happy. The dining room, which Adrian had rarely used, became the heart of the home. They ate dinner there every night, talking about their days. Lily told elaborate stories about her stuffed animals' adventures. Tessa shared about the families she helped. Adrian talked about his work in ways that made it accessible and interesting. Patricia joined them twice a week for dinner. She brought stories from her therapy sessions, sharing insights with a vulnerability that still surprised Adrian. She talked about unlearning toxic patterns, about recognizing how her own childhood trauma had shaped her parenting, about the hard work of becoming someone new. One evening, Patricia said, "My therapist suggested I apologize to you, Adrian, for your childhood. For not being the mother you needed. You already apologized." "Not really. I apologized for what I did to Tessa. But I never apologized to you for the years of emotional distance, for making you feel like you had to be perfect to earn my love, for competing with Rose instead of learning from her." Adrian set down his fork. Lily, sensing the serious moment, climbed into Tessa's lap quietly. "I'm sorry," Patricia continued. "I'm sorry I wasn't warm. I'm sorry I criticized instead of encouraged. I'm sorry I made you feel alone even when I was in the same room. I'm sorry I valued the Cole name more than I valued you." Adrian felt his throat tighten. "I needed to hear that. I know. I should have said it years ago. But I'm saying it now. And Adrian, I'm proud of you. Not because you're successful or wealthy, but because you're kind. Because you love openly. Because you're the father to Lily that I never was to you. You're learning. That's what matters. I'm trying. Some days are harder than others. Yesterday I caught myself about to criticize Tessa's choice of afternoon activities with Lily. Then I stopped and asked myself, why does it matter? Is anyone being hurt? No. Is Lily happy? Yes. So I kept my mouth shut and said nothing. That's growth, Tessa said warmly. Baby steps, Patricia replied. Very small baby steps. Lily looked up from Tessa's lap. I like your baby steps, Grandma Patricia. They're going in the right direction. Patricia smiled, and Adrian saw genuine happiness on his mother's face. Not the polite smile she wore at charity events or the cold one she used in business meetings. Real joy. The following month, Adrian launched the new educational technology initiative at Cole Technologies. He partnered with community centers across the city, providing free computers, internet access, and software designed specifically for underserved populations. The community center where he and Tessa had met was the first to receive the upgrade. New computers replaced the ancient machines. High-speed internet was installed. Educational software that adapted to each child's learning level was made available to everyone. At the launch event, Tessa stood beside Adrian as he spoke to the crowd of community members, educators, and press. 5 years ago, I walked into this building for the first time, Adrian said. I was here to give a speech, to feel good about myself for an hour, and then return to my comfortable life. But something happened that day. I met someone who showed me what real impact looks like. Not writing checks from a distance, but being present, showing up, doing the work. He looked at Tessa, who was trying not to cry. This initiative isn't charity. It's investment. Investment in the future, in education, in the belief that every child deserves access to the tools that will help them learn and grow. The woman who taught me that is here today. Tessa Morgan, the coordinator of this center, the person who has dedicated her life to serving this community. And she happens to be my partner and the mother of my daughter. The crowd erupted in applause. Tessa wiped her eyes, overwhelmed. When the formal event ended, kids swarmed the new computer lab. Lily was right there with them, showing off the coding program Adrian had designed specifically for young learners. Look, this robot does what you tell it to do, Lily explained to a group of fascinated children. You just have to give it the right instructions. Adrian watched his daughter teaching other kids with the same passion Tessa brought to her work. Like mother, like daughter. Mrs. Chin, the librarian Lily adored, came over to Adrian. She was a tiny woman with silver hair and kind eyes behind thick glasses. Your daughter talks about you constantly, Mrs. Chin said. For a long time she talked about you like you were a story character. Someone wonderful but not real. Now she talks about you like you're her whole world. She's mine, Adrian said simply. Good fathers raise good humans. You're doing well. I had a good teacher. Tessa showed me what real parenting looks like. Tessa is special. When she first came here she was hurting. I could see it. But she never let that hurt stop her from helping others. She turned her pain into purpose. I'm going to marry her, Adrian said. I haven't asked yet, but I'm going to. Mrs. Chin smiled. She'll say yes. But not because of your money or your status. She'll say yes because you see her. Really see her. That's what we all want, isn't it? To be truly seen by someone who loves us. That night, after Lily was in bed, Adrian and Tessa stood on their penthouse balcony looking at the city lights. Today was incredible, Tessa said. Seeing the kids' faces when they saw the new equipment, hearing them talk about what they want to learn. Adrian, you're changing lives. We're changing lives. This is your vision, Tessa. I just have the money to make it happen. It's more than money. You're present. You show up. You care about these communities in a real way, not just as a tax write-off. You taught me that. Before you, I thought wealth was about accumulation. Now I understand it's about circulation. Money is only valuable if it moves, if it creates opportunities and opens doors. Listen to you, getting all philosophical. Adrian pulled her close. I learned from the best. They stood wrapped in each other, and Adrian thought about timing. He had the ring already, had bought it weeks ago. But when was the right moment? How did you propose to someone you had already lost once? How did you make it perfect? But then he remembered what Tessa had taught him. Perfect wasn't real. Real was messy and spontaneous and built on actual moments, not orchestrated ones. Tessa, he said quietly, I want to ask you something. What? Will you marry me? She pulled back to look at his face. What? I know I should have planned this better. I should have waited for a perfect moment with flowers and music and all that. But standing here with you, looking at the city where we met and fell in love and lost each other and found each other again, this feels like the right moment. Adrian? You don't have to answer now. Take time. Think about it. But I want you to know that I'm all in. I want forever with you. I want to be Lily's father legally and officially. I want to wake up next to you for the rest of my life. I want to build something real and lasting and true. Tessa was crying now, happy tears streaming down her face. You really mean it? I've never meant anything more. Then yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Adrian kissed her and it felt like coming home. Like every moment of the past 5 years had been leading to this. The pain, the loss, the searching, all of it mattered because it brought them here. He pulled out the ring box from his pocket. I've been carrying this around for weeks waiting for the perfect moment. Turns out the perfect moment is just whenever we're together. The ring was simple and beautiful. Not a huge diamond meant to impress, but an elegant design with small stones that caught the light. Exactly Tessa's style. It's perfect, she whispered. Like you. I'm not perfect. Perfect for me then. They held each other on the balcony, the city alive around them, their future stretching out full of possibility. In her room, Lily woke briefly from a dream. She padded out to find her parents and saw them through the glass doors, holding each other, her mother's hand showing something sparkly. Lily smiled. She had been hoping Daddy Adrian would ask. She had even practiced what she would say at the wedding when people asked her about her parents. She went back to bed, hugging her favorite stuffed train, content in the knowledge that her family was complete. Adrian was wrong about one thing. He thought he had proposed, and in a way he had. But Lily had other plans. 2 weeks after Adrian asked Tessa to marry him, they took Lily to their favorite park for a Saturday afternoon. It was late spring, the kind of perfect day where the sun was warm but not hot and flowers bloomed everywhere. Lily had been acting strange all morning, secretive and giggly. She clutched a small backpack and refused to let anyone look inside. What's in the bag, sweetheart? Tessa asked for the third time. It's a surprise. You'll see. They spread a blanket under a large oak tree and unpacked the picnic lunch. Lily barely touched her sandwich, too excited about whatever she was planning. Finally, after they had eaten, Lily stood up and cleared her throat dramatically. I have an announcement, she said in her most serious voice. Adrian and Tessa exchanged amused glances. I've been thinking, Lily continued. We're already a family. We live together and eat dinner together and do everything together. But it's not official yet. Lily, honey, your dad already asked me to marry him, Tessa said gently. I know. I heard through the door. But he didn't do it right. What? Adrian tried not to laugh. You didn't ask me. And I'm part of this family too. So I'm going to fix it. Lily opened her backpack and pulled out 3 objects. A ring pop, the kind you could buy at any candy store. A piece of paper folded many times. And a small velvet box that looked suspiciously like it came from a jewelry store. She handed the ring pop to Adrian. This is for Mommy. Because you're supposed to have a ring when you propose. Then she handed the folded paper to Tessa. This is for you to read. I wrote it myself. Mrs. Chin helped me spell the big words. Finally, she kept the velvet box. And this is from me. Adrian's throat tightened as he realized what was happening. His daughter was proposing on behalf of their family. Tessa unfolded the paper with shaking hands and read aloud. Dear Mommy, I love you more than trains and chocolate ice cream. You're the best mommy in the whole world. Daddy Adrian loves you too, even more than I do, and I didn't think that was possible. We want to be a family forever, not just for now. So I'm asking, will you marry us? Love, Lily. P.S. Mrs. Chin says marriage is about choosing to love someone every day, even when it's hard. I think we already do that. Tessa was openly crying now. Lily, baby, this is beautiful. I'm not done, Lily said. She turned to Adrian. Your turn. Give mommy the ring, Pop, and say the words. Adrian got down on one knee in the grass, his expensive suit forgotten. He held up the ring, Pop, like it was the Hope Diamond. Tessa Morgan, will you marry me and this incredible girl? Will you choose us every day, even when it's hard? Yes, Tessa laughed through her tears. Yes, I choose you. Both of you. Every day. Lily clapped her hands together. Good. Now you have to put the ring, Pop, on her finger. Adrian slipped the candy ring onto Tessa's finger, and she examined it seriously. This is the best ring I've ever seen. But wait, there's more, Lily said. She opened the velvet box to reveal a delicate necklace with 3 small charms. A heart, a star, and a train. Grandma Patricia helped me pick it out, Lily explained. The heart is for love. The star is for wishes. And the train is because trains take you places and we're going places together. Lily, this is too much, Tessa said. It's from my piggy bank. I've been saving my allowance. Grandma Patricia said I had enough for something small, and this was small but perfect. Adrian helped Tessa put on the necklace while Lily watched with satisfaction. Now it's really official, Lily declared. We're engaged. All 3 of us. All 3 of us, Adrian repeated, pulling both his girls into a hug. Around them, other park visitors had noticed the scene. A few were taking photos. One woman was openly weeping. An older couple applauded softly. Lily waved at them. We're getting married. All of us. The afternoon became a celebration. Strangers offered congratulations. Other children came over to admire Lily's backpack and hear the story. One little boy said solemnly, I want to propose to my parents too when they get married. As the sun started to set, they packed up their picnic and walked toward home. Lily held both their hands, swinging between them, the happiest child in the world. That was the best proposal ever, Tessa said. I agree, Adrian replied. Though I'm a little embarrassed, my 4-year-old daughter knows more about romance than I do. 4 3/4, Lily corrected. And it's not about romance. It's about family. You're right. It's about family. That night, after Lily was asleep, Adrian and Tessa looked at the collection of proposal items on their dresser. The ring, Pop, now carefully preserved in a plastic bag. The folded paper with Lily's careful handwriting. The necklace with its 3 meaningful charms. And Adrian's own ring, which Tessa had been wearing since he proposed on the balcony. 2 proposals, Tessa mused. That's not something many people can say. Only because we have the most thoughtful daughter in existence. She's pretty special. She gets it from you. Tessa turned to face him. Adrian, when do you want to get married? Like actual timeline? Tomorrow? Next week? I don't need a big wedding, Tessa. I just need you. I want something small. Family and close friends. Maybe at the community center where we met. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And soon. I don't want to wait. We've already waited 5 years. Next month? Next month. They sealed the plan with a kiss, and Adrian felt something settle in his chest. 5 years ago he had lost everything. But life had a way of coming full circle. The pain had been real, the loss had been devastating, but it had led them here. To this moment. To this family. To this future they would build together. Would you believe that sometimes the most perfect proposals come from the hearts of children? That love isn't about grand gestures but about choosing each other every single day? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts on Lily's proposal. And don't forget to subscribe to see how this beautiful family story continues. The wedding was exactly 1 month after Lily's proposal in the park. They chose the community center where Adrian and Tessa had first met, the place where both their lives had changed forever. The space looked magical. White flowers hung from every available surface. Strings of lights created a warm glow. The folding chairs had been replaced with nicer ones, but they were still simple, still accessible, still representative of the community this building served. Only 50 people attended. Tessa's parents, who Adrian had gotten to know and deeply respect. Her younger brother, now in his final year of college thanks to the scholarship fund Adrian had quietly established. Mrs. Chun from the library, dressed in a beautiful blue dress and smiling her quiet smile. The staff from the community center who had become like family to Tessa over the years. Adrian's guests were smaller in number. A few trusted friends from college. His business partner James, who had facilitated that fateful wedding where Adrian had first seen Lily. And Patricia, who sat in the front row wearing a soft green dress and wiping tears before the ceremony even started. Lily was the flower girl, obviously. She wore a bright red dress with a full skirt that spun when she twirled, which she did constantly. She took her job very seriously, walking down the aisle with perfect posture, scattering petals with the precision of someone performing surgery. When she reached the front, she went straight to Adrian and whispered loudly, "I didn't mess up. Not even once." "You were perfect," he whispered back. Then the music changed and Tessa appeared. Adrian's breath caught. She wore a simple white dress, elegant and understated. No veil, just flowers woven through her dark hair. She glowed with happiness, and when their eyes met, Adrian felt the same pull he had felt 5 years ago when he first saw her speak on that small stage. She walked down the aisle alone by choice. "I'm not being given away," she had explained during planning. "I'm choosing. This is my choice and I want that to be clear." When she reached Adrian, she took his hands and they stood together facing the officiant, a woman who ran another community center across town and had become Tessa's mentor. "We gather today," the officiant began, "to celebrate a love that refused to be destroyed." Adrian and Tessa's story isn't a simple one. They met, they fell in love, they were torn apart, and they found their way back. Not because it was easy, but because they believed love was worth fighting for. She smiled at Lily. And they created this incredible human in the process. "Lily, would you like to come stand with your parents?" Lily immediately joined them, standing between Adrian and Tessa. Each parent took one of her hands. "Love isn't always romantic," the officiant continued. "Sometimes it's the love between a parent and child. Sometimes it's the love of community. Sometimes it's the love that drives us to do better, be better, serve better." Adrian and Tessa's love encompasses all of these things. Adrian and Tessa had written their own vows. Adrian went first. "Tessa, 5 years ago I lost you and I didn't understand why. I spent those years building a business empire but feeling empty inside. Then I found you again and I found Lily and I understood what I had been missing. Purpose. Connection. Real love." His voice cracked slightly. "You taught me that wealth isn't about what you accumulate but about what you give away. You showed me that family isn't always blood, that community matters more than status, and that showing up is more valuable than showing off. I promise to keep showing up. Every day. Every moment. For you and for Lily and for the life we're building together." Tessa wiped tears from her eyes before beginning her own vows. "Adrian, when I met you, I thought you were just another rich person looking to feel good about himself. But you proved me wrong. You saw me, really saw me, not as a project or a charity case but as a person with value and worth. You loved me without conditions." She glanced at Lily. "When I had to leave, it was the hardest decision I ever made. I thought I was protecting everyone but I was really just scared. Scared of your mother's threats, scared of your world, scared that love wouldn't be enough. I was wrong. Love is always enough when it's real." She looked back at Adrian. "You found us. You didn't give up. You fought for us when I was too afraid to fight for myself. And now we're here about to promise forever to each other. I promise to choose you, every single day even when it's hard. I promise to build a life full of love and laughter and purpose. I promise to be your partner in all things." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. The officiant asked for the rings. Lily produced them from a small pouch she had been guarding carefully. Simple gold bands, no diamonds or elaborate designs. Just symbols of commitment, circular and unbroken. They exchanged rings and then the officiant said, "By the power vested in me, I pronounce you married. Adrian, you may kiss your bride." Adrian pulled Tessa close and kissed her as their family and friends erupted in applause. Lily jumped up and down between them shouting, "We did it! We're really married now." The reception was held in the same room, tables set up where the chairs had been. Mrs. Chen had made the cake, a simple 3-layer design covered in fresh flowers. Food was catered from local restaurants, the kind of places Adrian had learned to love through Tessa. During dinner, Patricia stood to give a toast. She looked nervous, Adrian noticed. His mother, who had commanded boardrooms and charity galas without a tremor, was nervous about speaking to 50 people in a community center. "I'm not good at this," Patricia began. "Emotions, vulnerability, all of it. But my therapist says growth happens outside your comfort zone, so here I am." People laughed gently. 5 years ago, I did something unforgivable. I threatened Tessa and her family because I was afraid. Afraid of losing control, afraid of losing my son, afraid of anything that didn't fit my narrow view of how life should be. In doing so, I stole 5 years from Adrian and Tessa. I stole 5 years of Lily's life from her father. The room was silent now. I can't undo that. But I can tell you what I've learned. Love isn't about control. Family isn't about status or money or living up to some impossible standard. It's about showing up. It's about trying to be better today than you were yesterday. It's about accepting people as they are, not trying to force them into shapes that make you comfortable. Patricia looked at Lily. My granddaughter taught me that. She's 4 years old and wiser than I'll ever be. She loves without conditions. She forgives without holding grudges. She sees the good in people even when they don't deserve it. She raised her glass. To Adrian and Tessa. May your marriage be everything mine wasn't. May you always choose each other. May you build a family based on love, not fear. And may you teach your children, including any future children, the lessons I failed to teach mine. Everyone raised their glasses. To Adrian and Tessa. As the evening progressed, Adrian watched his new wife dance with their daughter. Watched Patricia laughing with Tessa's parents, all past hurts seemingly set aside for this one perfect night. Watched the community they had built gather around them with genuine love and support. James approached Adrian with a knowing smile. You did good, man. Really good. I got lucky. Tessa could have refused to speak to me that night at the wedding. She could have kept Lily from me forever. But she didn't. Because underneath the fear she never stopped loving you. Anyone could see that. Later, as the party wound down, Lily started to fade. She had been running on pure excitement all day and exhaustion was finally catching up. She climbed into Adrian's lap, her fancy red dress rumpled and stained with cake frosting. Is the wedding over? She asked sleepily. Almost, sweetheart. It was a good wedding. Everyone was happy. Everyone was very happy. Daddy Adrian? Yes. Are you glad I found you at that first wedding? Adrian held her closer. Finding you was the best thing that ever happened to me. Even better than marrying Mommy? You and Mommy are a package deal. I can't imagine one without the other. Satisfied, Lily closed her eyes and fell asleep right there in his arms. Tessa came over and smiled at the sight. She's going to be so mad tomorrow that she missed the end of the party. We'll tell her every detail. Ready to go home? Yes. Let's take our daughter home. Our daughter. Those words would never stop being meaningful to Adrian. Their daughter. Their family. Their future. They said their goodbyes, hugged everyone, thanked Mrs. Chen for the cake and Patricia for everything she had done to help with the planning. Then they drove home through the city, Lily asleep in her car seat, Tessa's hand in Adrian's. Do you think we'll always be this happy? Tessa asked quietly. No, Adrian said honestly. Life will throw challenges at us. There will be hard days and disagreements and moments of doubt. But I think we'll always choose each other. And that's better than constant happiness. That's real. Real is better, Tessa agreed. 1 year later, they celebrated at the same community center for a different reason. Cole Technologies had expanded its educational initiative to 20 cities nationwide. Tessa had left her coordinator position to run the program full-time, using Adrian's resources and her expertise to create real change in underserved communities. Patricia had joined the board of the foundation they established, using her connections for good now instead of control. She showed up at every event, rolled up her sleeves and worked alongside volunteers. She was learning that respect earned through kindness mattered more than respect commanded through fear. Lily, now 5.5, was starting kindergarten. She wanted to be a social worker like her mom when she grew up. Or maybe a train conductor. She hadn't decided yet. At the celebration event, surrounded by families whose lives had been changed by the program, Adrian stood with Tessa and watched their daughter play with other children. Remember when you thought your life was over because I disappeared? Tessa asked. I remember. Turns out it was just beginning. The best part was just beginning, Adrian corrected. Do you think 5 years ago Adrian would believe this is where you'd end up? Adrian thought about the man he had been. Lost, searching, building wealth but not meaning. That man had needed to be broken down to be rebuilt into something better. I think 5 years ago Adrian would be grateful, he said finally. Grateful that he met you. Grateful that he didn't give up searching. Grateful that love turned out to be stronger than fear or pride or stubbornness. And grateful for Mrs. Chen's wisdom? Especially that. They laughed together and across the room Lily looked up and waved. Her parents waved back and she grinned before returning to her game. You know what the best part is? Tessa said. We get to do this every day. This isn't the ending. This is just a really good middle. To many more middles, Adrian said. To showing up. To choosing each other. To love that's stronger than fear. They kissed, and around them the community they had built together thrived. Children learned on new computers. Families found resources and support. Dreams became possibilities. 5 years ago, Adrian had lost everything. But loss had taught him what actually mattered. Not money or status or control. Not even the destination. What mattered was the journey. The people you traveled with. The love you chose to give and receive. The ways you showed up even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard. Because love wasn't about easy. It was about worth it. And this family, this life, this beautiful messy reality they had built together was worth every challenge, every tear, every moment of doubt that had led them here. Lily ran over and grabbed both their hands. Come on, they're about to announce the new program cities. I want to hear if ours is one of them. Ours already has the program, sweetheart, Tessa said. I know, but I want them to say our city's name so everyone knows we're special. They followed their daughter toward the stage, hands linked, hearts full. The past had been painful, but the present was beautiful. And the future stretched out ahead, full of promise and possibility and the simple joy of being together. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything.